Welcome back to our exploration of A Course in Miracles in Practice. Today we're looking at lesson 313.
313. Wow, we are really getting up there in the workbook.
We really are. Over 300 lessons covered now. It feels like we're nearing the summit, you know?
Definitely. And you can feel the practice itself shifting, I think. It's moving. It's moving beyond just understanding the concepts.
Right. It's less about the spiritual effort, maybe, like trying to force ourselves to be forgiving.
Exactly. It's shifting more towards this deep personal responsibility for everything we see and feel.
That's a huge pivot, isn't it? After all this time learning the mechanics, now it's about embodying the idea that we're choosing it all.
Every perception, whether it feels peaceful or irritating or even terrifying. The core idea here is that you are the one choosing that interpretation. You're holding it in place.
So if I'm feeling discomfort, the Course is basically saying, okay, look at how you're creating that feeling, not blaming the world for it.
Precisely. And that leads right into the lesson's title, that core invitation. Now let a new perception come to me.
Which sounds passive, maybe, let it come, but it's not, is it?
Not at all. It's actually a really active command. It's like giving yourself explicit permission right here, right now, to choose again.
To stop doing something.
Yes, to stop actively protecting that version of reality you've built, the one where someone else is the problem or the situation is inherently unfair.
The story that justifies the upset.
That's the one, because defending that story, clinging to it, is exactly what blocks love, what blocks peace from coming in. We have to consciously stop that defense mechanism.
And admitting that the block is inside us, not out there, that feels like the key to making this work on a deeper level now.
It changes everything. You're dealing with the cause, finally, not just the symptom.
And that's what we want to unpack today, how this plays out practically.
And as always, we really do want to hear from you listening. How does this idea of radical ownership land in your practice?
Yeah, please share your experiences. You can email us. It's ASAIM@theworldharmonyproject.org.
Or find us over on TikTok. We're at the World Harmony Project. It really helps to know we're all navigating this together.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's dive into the lesson text itself, lesson 313.
Let's read it. It starts with that core request. Now let a new perception come to me. Father, there is a vision which beholds all things as sinless, so that fear has gone. And where it was is love invited in. And love will come wherever it is asked.
Okay, stop right there for a second. Love will come wherever it is asked. That's quite a promise.
It is. And notice the definition of vision. It beholds things as sinless. That's where fear disappears and love just naturally fills the space.
So vision isn't just seeing differently, it's seeing without the concept of sin altogether.
Exactly. Let's continue. This vision is your gift. The eyes of Christ look on a world forgiven. In his sight are all its sins forgiven, for he sees no sin in anything he looks upon.
The eyes of Christ, seeing a world forgiven because sin isn't even perceived. It's not about overlooking fault.
Right. It's not about moral judgment or pardon in the usual sense. Sin, in the Course, is the belief in separation. Christ's vision simply doesn't see separation, so it literally sees no sin. Forgiveness here means recognizing the unreality of what we thought was wrong.
Because it never actually happened in reality.
Precisely. It continues. Now let his true perception come to me, that I may awaken from the dream of sin and look within upon my sinlessness, which you have kept completely undefiled upon the altar to your holy Son, the self with which I would identify.
So the whole point is to wake up from the dream of sin, to look inside and find that inherent sinlessness that's always been there, untouched by any illusion.
Untouched, undefiled. It's about identifying with that true self, not the self we made up that seems capable of sinning.
And immediately the lesson connects this internal shift to how we see each other.
It has to. That's where the practice happens. Here's the second part. Let us today behold each other in the sight of Christ. How beautiful we are, how holy and how loving. Brother, come and join with me today.
That feels like the direct instruction for the day. Look at the person next to you, the person you're thinking about, through these eyes of Christ.
See their holiness, their beauty, and then the call to action, brother, come and join with me today.
And the consequence of this joining is huge.
It really is. We save the world when we have joined, for in our vision it becomes as holy as the light in us.
We save the world just by joining, just by seeing each other differently.
That's the claim. Because our vision, our perception, literally shapes the world we experience. When we see holiness, the world reflects that holiness back to us. It's a profound statement about the power of our minds.
Okay. This really sets the stage for digging into what the Course calls self-authorship, recognizing we're writing the script.
Yes. We have to grasp that we're not just passive observers reacting to events. We are actively authoring the meaning we give to everything.
You know, this lesson hit me right away this morning. It made me notice just how automatic that negative script writing is.
Oh, yeah. What happened?
Well, just the usual little things. Before I was even properly awake, really, I found myself mentally cataloging perceived slights.
Huh?
Like deciding someone was being inconsiderate because of how they did or didn't do some small task.
Yeah.
Or judging someone else internally as lazy because they weren't meeting my unspoken timeline.
You'd already assigned motives. Bad ones.
Exactly. I decided why they were doing it. They were careless. They didn't care about my time. I wasn't looking for facts. I was building a narrative, or they were the villains, which of course made my irritation feel justified.
And that justification feels good for a split second, right?
Yeah.
It props up the ego. But then you recognize you were doing it.
I had to start myself. I literally thought, wait, I am doing this. I am assigning these negative motives right now. I'm creating this story.
And that recognition itself, that's the moment the power shifts, isn't it?
It really is. Just saying, I'm doing this, it kind of broke the spell. Because in that instant, I guess I chose wanting peace more than wanting to be right about how annoying these people supposedly were.
That's it. That's the core of these later lessons. Realizing we are the authors. The events themselves, they're pretty much neutral. Blank screens.
And we project our judgments, our fears, our meanings onto them.
We write the script, direct the play, assign the roles.
But it's hard work to stop that projector. I mean, the mind offers up the negative interpretation almost instantly. It feels automatic.
It does feel automatic because it's a deeply ingrained habit. The ego's default setting is defense and judgment.
I had this happen yesterday. I saw someone do something I thought was careless, and bam, my mind was off, constructing this whole character assessment based on that one tiny action.
Trying to file them away neatly in a careless person box makes the world feel more predictable, maybe, but it's still a judgment.
So what did you do? How did you apply the discipline?
Well, it felt like hitting the brakes mentally. I was mid-sentence in my head, outlining their flaws.
Yeah.
And I just stopped, cut it off. And then I had to consciously, deliberately say to myself, no, I want to see this differently. I choose to see this differently.
It wasn't effortless then. It wasn't just a wave of peace washing over you.
Not at all. It felt like effort, like turning a heavy wheel. The resistance from the old thought pattern was definitely there, but the choice was the key.
And that highlights why we call it discipline, not magic. The new perception is always available, the Course says, but we have to actively remove the block.
The block being our cherished story, our judgment. We have to consciously redirect our mind's authorship away from attack and towards, just seeing. And eventually, forgiveness.
Which brings us to the listener. How can you listening right now put this into practice today?
Okay, here's a challenge just for today. Notice one situation, maybe it's something small that makes you feel tense or annoyed. Traffic, maybe? A comment someone made, something in the news.
Got it. Find that little point of friction.
Now, just acknowledge, without beating yourself up about it, that you are the one giving it that meaning. You're the author of the tense or annoying interpretation.
That's the radical ownership part. It's not the traffic's fault I'm angry. It's my interpretation of the traffic.
Exactly. And here's the critical decision point. Can you stop protecting that interpretation? Can you stop defending the story that makes you feel tense?
That means letting go of being right about how bad it is.
Yes. Giving up that little ego payoff. Yeah. And that single moment of stopping the defense, that pause, that's the crack where the light gets in. That's when the new perception can come.
It's like you're changing the channel in your mind from attack, defend to allow, receive.
That's a good way to put it. And it's so important to remember why we're doing this. It's easy to think it's about becoming some kind of saint, being nice all the time.
Right, like we're doing the other person a favor by not judging them.
But that's not really the Course's angle. It's primarily about freeing ourselves. When I choose to withdraw my judgment, I am the one who gets released from the prison of that judgment.
It's an act of self-liberation first and foremost.
Absolutely. Because love isn't actually absent, according to the Course. It's just blocked. And the block is always, always a judgment we are actively holding on to, feeding, reinforcing.
Like holding a shield up against the sun. This lesson is about just putting the shield down.
Exactly. Just stop the effort of holding it up.
This dynamic, this blocking through judgment, it's usually most obvious and maybe most painful in our close relationships, right? Family, partners, coworkers.
Oh, definitely. Think about how quickly we react when we feel criticized, even mildly. Someone questions something we did.
And instantly, the defenses go up. You start mentally rehearsing your case, why you were right, why they misunderstood.
You could spend hours in that internal courtroom, arguing your side, feeling misunderstood, attacked.
And looking back, you realize you chose that path. You accepted the invitation to feel attacked, to feel guilty or defensive.
That's the turning point Lesson 313 pushes us towards. Recognizing that choice as it happens, or as soon as possible after.
And the freedom comes when you stop reheating the argument internally. You just notice, there I go again, choosing to feel attacked, and you just stop.
That acceptance, that ownership of the reaction, it's humbling, isn't it?
Totally, because it takes away the ego's favorite food source.
Which is?
Being the victim, being misunderstood, unfairly treated, the whole poor me narrative.
Exactly. Once you own your reaction, my feeling is my choice, the victim story collapses. And that's where real strength lies.
Because then you can actually address the situation, right? Talk about the criticism or the issue without all that defensive heat.
Yes. The communication can become about the facts or the process, not about defending your wounded self. Your reaction is yours. The external event is just data.
And this quiet awareness that love just appears when the guilt and defense are dropped. That is the new perception.
It is. Guilt is the veil. Drop the veil, see the light. Simple.
But we need to be clear about guilt here. It's not always that big, heavy, moral failing feeling, is it?
No, not always.
Yeah.
Often it's much more subtle in the Course's usage. It's that constant, quiet ranking we do.
Like an internal score sheet.
Yeah. Deciding who's smarter, who's more spiritual, who's more worthy of respect, who's annoying, who's enlightened. That whole comparative game.
I'm more patient than them, or they're clearly less aware than I am, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's exactly it. That subtle process of comparing and ranking to make ourselves feel slightly better or slightly more justified, that's the ego operating through guilt, through separation.
And this lesson asks us to just drop the scorecard entirely.
Completely. Stop the ranking. Just behold the other, as the lesson says, in the sight of Christ, as inherently holy, equal, beautiful.
Okay, but choosing to join instead of judge, it can feel really vulnerable at first.
Oh, absolutely. I remember when I first started really trying to practice this, letting go of being right felt like being exposed.
How so?
Like I was giving up my justification, my story that made me feel special or vindicated in my anger or frustration. If they weren't wrong, then what was I? It felt shaky.
That makes sense. You're giving up your armor.
Exactly. But that perceived vulnerability, that's actually the doorway to the real strength the Course talks about. A strength that doesn't need to win arguments or be proven right.
It's an inherent strength based on recognizing you don't need defense because you're not actually under attack.
Precisely. And the practical relief, it's immense. Holding on to judgments, nursing grievances.
Yeah.
It takes so much mental energy.
It's exhausting.
It really is. So letting go, surrendering that need to judge and be right, it's not a loss. It's pure relief, like putting down a heavy weight you didn't even realize you were carrying.
And these moments to choose relief, they happen constantly in tiny ways.
All day long. Little friction points, like the phone rings.
And instantly there's that little clinch, that, oh no, what now feeling.
Or you get a text message. And there's a flicker of dread before you even read it. Anticipating difficulty.
Those are perfect moments, aren't they? To catch the reaction before it takes hold.
Yes. Instead of letting the dread or resistance color the whole interaction, you can pause just for a second.
And do what?
Just internally state your willingness. I'm willing to see this through love. Or simply let a new perception come.
Even if you don't feel loving at all in that moment.
Especially then. It's not about forcing a feeling. It's about signaling your willingness to shift the lens. You're opening the door, even just a crack. That's the active part of letting.
And the courses suggest that door stays open a bit longer each time we make that choice.
That's the idea. That willingness is the beginning of vision perception, cleared of accusation.
Which loops us back beautifully to that idea of joining. And the line, "We save the world when we have joined." That sounds so grand.
It does. But the practice of it can be incredibly simple, almost mundane.
So what does joining actually mean in practice, according to this lesson?
At its core, it means you stop identifying someone else as the cause of your lack of peace. You withdraw the projection.
So I stop blaming my spouse, my boss, the politician, whoever, for how I feel.
Yes. You consciously move them in your mind from the category of problem causer or obstacle to the category of brother or fellow learner. You see them as part of your journey, not a block to it.
Okay, so how can someone practice that right now?
Think of one person, just one, that you've been quietly blaming for something. Maybe your stress levels, maybe a frustration you have. Got someone in mind.
Okay, yes.
Now, silently, in your mind, direct this thought towards them. You are not my problem. Your actions are not the reason I lack peace.
Just stating that internally.
Yes. Feel the shift that might happen just by withdrawing that accusation. That silent withdrawal, that refusal to assign blame for your inner state that is joining.
So joining isn't about suddenly agreeing with them or liking what they do.
Not necessarily at all. You can still disagree fundamentally on policies or approaches or behaviors. Joining means you refuse to use that difference as a weapon to maintain separation in your own mind.
You refuse to make them the other, the enemy.
Exactly. You choose to meet them mentally as part of your own self, part of your own classroom for learning forgiveness, instead of an external threat that needs fixing or condemning.
And when we do that, when we achieve that kind of vision perception without accusation, that leads us towards what the Course calls the last judgment.
Yes, and we really need to unpack that term because it comes with so much baggage.
Right. Traditional religious ideas paint it as this terrifying final exam by God, deciding heaven or hell based on our sins, fear-based.
Completely fear-based. The Course turns that completely on its head. It offers a radically different interpretation.
So what is the last judgment according to ACIM?
It's not God judging us at all. It's the moment we finally, completely let go of judging ourselves. It's the end of self-condemnation.
Wow. So it's the moment we fully accept our own inherent sinlessness, as the lesson talks about?
Precisely. It's the final acceptance of the truth about ourselves that we are and always have been innocent, undefiled, eternally part of God.
It's the ultimate act of ownership then. We stop judging ourselves and therefore we stop needing to project judgment onto others.
Exactly. The last judgment is simply the last time we choose condemnation over love, the last time we choose separation over joining. Once that choice for love becomes total and final, judgment itself becomes meaningless.
So we're not waiting for some external verdict. We are actively participating in ending judgment by stopping our own internal judgment process.
Yes. Our role is to stop the ego's constant interference, its demand for comparison, for blame, for specialness, for judgment. That's what keeps the illusion going.
Because love, God, reality, it's constant, always there.
Always present, always available, like the sun behind the clouds. Our only job is to stop creating the clouds, the judgments, the fears, the grievances. Stop editing reality.
And Lesson 313 gives us the tool for that, right here, right now.
Every single moment is an opportunity. Standing in a queue at the supermarket.
Hearing someone complain about the wait.
Reading the news about conflict and division. Scrolling through social media.
All perfect chances to practice.
To internally make that commitment. I am responsible for what I am seeing right now, and I want to see it with forgiveness. I choose peace instead of this irritation.
That's how the Course stops being just words on a page and becomes a living practice, applying this profound idea to the mundane details of life.
And the amazing thing is, as we consistently choose this internal joining, this forgiveness, the world we perceive actually starts to shift.
Because it has to mirror our internal state.
That's the promise. We start to literally see the world, that our joined vision creates a world reflecting the peace and holiness we've chosen to see within ourselves and others. The new perception becomes our reality.
So, boiling it all down, Lesson 313 is fundamentally about ownership. Total ownership.
Every reaction, every feeling, every judgment, it's a decision you're making, and therefore it's a decision you can change.
And that word let in the title, now let a new perception come to me, it's about letting go, isn't it?
Exactly. Letting go of the blocks.
Yeah.
Letting go of the judgments, the grievances, the defenses that are keeping love out. You're not creating peace. You're allowing the peace that's already there to be seen.
You're accepting the forgiveness that's already complete.
Yes. So the final challenge for you listening is just this. Don't wait for circumstances to change or for calm to magically appear.
Choose it now.
Catch just one moment today where you find yourself blaming a person, a situation, yourself. And in that exact moment, make the switch. Decide you'd rather have peace than be right about that blame.
That active conscious choice, that's how this lesson stops being theory and becomes real lived experience.
It really is. Thank you for joining us in this exploration today. It's deep stuff, but so practical.
It is, and please do share how this practice feels for you. Email us again at acim@theworldharmonyproject.org.
Or connect on TikTok at The World Harmony Project. We learned so much from hearing your journeys.
We look forward to exploring Lesson 314 with you next time.